Sports Chicks. Welcome. You got Sadell, Nicole, the Lioness, and
Carlita Nicole, the quirky queen herself, Chi-Town, born and bred, Texas fan.
what's up, y'all?
Hey y'all, what is going on this crazy week 3 of the NFL? I'm so ready to dive into it. Let's get into it, Sadell. So first things first, y'all see what shirt I'm wearing today, right? I gotta represent as the official Dak ambassador, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. Partly because y'all be hating on my boy Dak for reasons that don't even concern football, even to the point of tweeting ridiculousness. But that's neither here nor there. Let's dive.
What kind of ridiculousness, though, are you talking about that's being tweeted?
Girl, the ridiculousness of hating on him because he had his shirt off in the locker room after the game and he didn't play. Are you kidding me? First of all, it's hot, and he was out rooting them on, cheering them on the sideline. You think he's not hot and sweaty too? So Jordan Lewis, shout out to Jordan Lewis, because he represented for Dak and was like, "You don't go and wash your after you've been outside all day."
Right.
So that's the foolery that I'm talking about. But no, like that's just mess. But I'm talking about let's go into the real deal stuff, and then we're gonna get to this whole Dallas Cowboy quarterback controversy. I swear something out of nothing. So anyway, here's the deal for this game this past week, y'all. We beat our division rivals, the New York Giants, at their home, 23-16. Our second string QB, Cooper Rush, threw for 215 yards, a touchdown. Still no interceptions, y'all. Now, my boy CD Lamb, our number one receiver, did not start off at a good start at all. Like he eventually later on did redeem himself, catching a crucial catch at a fourth down, and then also that one-handed catch in the end zone for a touchdown. Woo! Now that
was nice.
Was number one receiver-ish. Okay. So with all of that stuff going on, this was a thing that I was frustrated with, was the penalties during this game. Now, our penalties, we did have some, we always have ridiculous penalties. We always have some offsides penalties, something silly, right? But we had 8 penalties for 70 yards. They had 8 penalties for 57, but multiple times did I have to make a post about the refs blatantly missing pass interference, like holding in the ref's face.
Definitely holding.
Multiple times. Are you trying to give them the game? Refs, really? Hey, Daddy. Hey, Kristen. Hey, Jordan. So, with all of that, we still managed to win this game. And there's 2 parts of this game that really, 2 questions that come to mind. Well, so one thing is about our whole running back situation, Sadell. I've been waiting to talk to you about this running back situation, okay? So Zeke this week went for 73 yards and 15 carries, but Tony Pollard went for 105 yards and 13 carries, okay? So in my research today for the show, y'all know I love statistics. Y'all know I research. Y'all know I read. This is what I found out. So this is Tony Pollard's last year of his rookie contract, okay? Which means that he'll hit free agency this next offseason, okay? Then Zeke has $18.2 million of his remaining 30 million, or 18 remaining from the 30 million that he has guaranteed. So that money is going to be off the books after this 2022 season, right? What does that mean? That means that after the guaranteed money is off of the table, the Cowboys will have a potential out in Zeke's contract. So, one question I have for you tonight, Sadell, is knowing what you know about these two contracts, Pollard's contract about to be up, and once Zeke's guaranteed money is up, we have an out. And most likely we will be not be able to keep both of these running backs. Which one do we keep?
Why would we not be able to keep both? I mean, I guess my thing is I don't. It's one or I don't feel like it's one or the other. They have different running styles, and honestly, I think we do better with both. I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know that Pollard is going to be able to get everything that he's getting if Zeke is not there. Zeke is, going up the middle, taking hard yards, and Pollard is going down the sideline, getting past people. You know what I'm saying? Their styles are different.
Yes.
But even with that, I'm keeping Zeke.
Over Pollard?
I'm keeping Zeke.
Really?
I am.
Oh, okay. So Zion says we need both. Yes. Brian says, what controversy? Did he miss something? No, you didn't, because and he says that Rush is much better. No.
What's up, Perk?
No, he's not. No, y'all, really? Okay. So with all of that being said, my other question, thank you, Brian, for bringing it up. And we'll come back to the whole Zeke conversation because we're going to post this one first. So we'll come back to this. But so with Cooper Rush performing as well as he did, and not just this last game, but the last couple of games, we now in the games that he started are 3-0 in the games that Cooper Rush has started. How does Cooper Rush rank amongst the backup QBs in the league? And some of these backup QBs have started out the season like Joe Flacco, and Zach Wilson right now is supposed to come back, maybe come back this week. It looks like he's been cleared. And then you have Case Keenum, Colt McCoy, Jacoby Brissett has been playing in Cleveland until Deshaun Watson comes back, Nick Foles, Andy Dalton. So where does Cooper Rush rank amongst those backup QBs, y'all? Brian says, well, he's better than Jimmy G. I don't know how I feel about that, Brian. Where do you think he stacks up, especially knowing that, okay, yes, just as a backup QB, where does he stack up?
I mean, to me, he's doing well. But again, like you said, you mentioned some of the other ones that are doing well. But right now, to be honest, I think they have him ranked like the number one in the league, not just among backups. So as far as his numbers and his stats, he's doing really well. So I would say, to me, he's the number one backup. But of course, he's playing for us and definitely doing much better than I think anybody expected. And so not having turnovers, being poised, using his legs a little, even if, when he has to. I feel like he's kind of embraced the whole thing. And yeah, I say he ranks near the top, if not the top.
Now, Sadell, we know that you are a stickler when it comes to critiquing quarterbacks. So how do you, as far as Cooper Rush's passing, what do you think about his passing?
I think sometimes, I don't even know if it's necessarily his passing. I think sometimes he's just not on the same page with the receivers. Like there's been a couple that have just gone to La La Land where no one was, right? And so I think just having that and being in sync with them and having that communication with them, that's what I think part of it's been missing. But, there's some of his passes that have kind of been late or a little bit behind, but he's a backup and he's getting paid under a rookie contract as a backup quarterback. And so I think he's definitely earning his money.
Okay. Now, it's funny that you say that because, I could agree with that to a certain extent. But I will say, I'm gonna give Cooper Rush his props because Cooper Rush does some things that even as the official Dak ambassador, I would like to see Dak do a little bit more
What?
of.
Thank you. Let's go. Okay, let's hear this, girl.
What did she really just like pat me like I'm
Thank you.
okay? Are you proud of me? Are
I
you?
am. I am.
Okay. Okay. So this is the deal. Cooper Rush to me plays unafraid and he takes chances that I don't feel Dak takes anymore post injury. I do see a significant difference in Dak's play post his injuries in the sense of Dak plays super safe. Dak plays tight, and when you play safe and you play tight, like you're playing so that you won't get hurt, or you're playing so you won't throw an interception, and then in those situations you're getting hurt or you're throwing in an interception. And more than not, like we see those events happen more often than not. And I it wasn't the case when Dak first came out. So remember in Dak's rookie season when Tony Romo got hurt. So
Mhm.
Dak came out when Tony Romo got hurt and Dak was the backup. Dak came out throwing. Dak came out doing this, that, and the other. But then as the seasons went on and Dak started and Tony Romo went on to commentate, I really feel like Dak since then not necessarily has been a regression, but I do believe that his play has just been a lot more safe. And right now, like that, like for one, Dak is an incredibly athletic QB. He can utilize his legs, but we haven't
Incredibly.
seen what you
Okay, go
say.
ahead. You said incredibly, but go ahead.
I meant that. And I also feel like Dak legit he can utilize his legs. If Dak utilized his legs more often than not, then I do believe that we'd be able like we'd see a little bit more of the old Dak. Utilize his legs, like throw the ball and take chances. But to see like the freedom of Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush is like, look, y'all didn't pay Dak his money, so I'm just here for the next couple of games or until I start losing. So let me just do what I do. And he's taking these chances, and I'm like, do the daggone thing. And I'm glad about it because I do feel like as far as backup QBs, he's definitely up there at the upper echelon of backup QBs and playing better than some of the starting QBs.
Well, and I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't necessarily say that Cooper takes more risk than Dak. I just feel like Cooper is confident in what Kellen Moore is giving him. Like to me, the thing that he does better than Dak is he reads the defense well and he takes what the defense gives him. I mean, and I'm not, Dak is getting better, but I'm saying I think that is the difference to me. I don't know that he's necessarily that much more aggressive, but he does do a good job of just reading what's there and taking what the defense gives him and, checking down on some things and, or, trying to go for the big play when it's there. I just feel like he sees the defense and is able to read it a little quicker.
I'll just say I can agree with that a little bit and I'll leave it at that. Now, DJ Rockboy Dallas says since he got hurt, Dak has been playing more safe, staying in the pocket, not moving. Yes. Yes. Brian says, yes, I agree with Ant. I didn't even see what Ant says.
Oh, Cooper
Ant
Rush.
says, what's amazing to me is that Cooper Rush
Yes.
games by just playing sound football and making great throws. He hasn't had to scramble or make incredible throws. And so Brian says that he agrees. He does excel in the basic football, fundamental football. So DJ Rock Boy Dallas has asked us, has Dak earned his money? Dak earned his money before he got this daggone contract. Okay.
It doesn't work that way though, right? It doesn't work that way. Like you He earned his money. He outplayed his rookie contract for sure. But this is the same thing when y'all talk about DeMarcus Lawrence, when y'all talk about Zeke, they got money and then you're saying they're not. But the thing with Dak is he got the money and then he's been injured. So he hasn't actually.
Right. He got the money and he's been injured. And he got injured not on his own accord.
Anyway, so we're yet to see if he's earned his money. We're yet to see if he's worth what we pay.
Do you feel like we've seen Dak's peak?
I mean, honestly, before he got injured, that may have been his peak. He was playing really well before he got injured. We don't know because we haven't seen it. We don't really know.
He had the chance. That's the thing. I just don't think he had the chance. But to be honest with you, I hope that this situation just lights a fire under him. Like Dak is a team player wholeheartedly. Like you see him on the sidelines, you see him cheering on his teammates, and even when CeeDee Lamb was dropping passes and stuff, like Dak's over there like, hey bro, you got to shake it off. So Dak's a great leader, right? And I do feel like he's what this team needs. I'm looking forward to getting him back, but I don't want to rush him back. I think let Cooper Rush play against the Commanders when we play Washington this upcoming week. Let Cooper Rush play up against the Rams and Aaron Donald in 2 weeks, and then Dak could come back. I think we play the Eagles after that. Dak could come back after that. And I'm cool with that because I feel like it's given Dak enough time to recover, and it's given him where he's watched Cooper Rush really come out and play and see, like, maybe that's a little spark up under him and say, hey, maybe I got to start throwing the ball. Maybe I got to get outside the pocket. Maybe I got to start using my legs.
So you're saying Cooper Rush is teaching Dak how to play?
I didn't say. I see.
Oh,
no, that's so rude. And you just
that's what it said.
I didn't say nothing like that.
No, you did say something like
what
that.
I'm saying is that he could motivate. This is motivation.
He got millions of dollars to motivate himself. I mean, I'm just saying
the root of the everything. So anyway, so thank you, T. He said both of you ladies are awesome. I finally get to tune in. He's always at work. Well, thank you for tuning in. Brian, here you go. He says, if Rush keeps winning, Dak will be the backup.
Nah. I mean, we paid Dak. It's gonna take something really I mean, Dak is gonna have to come back and completely stink it up.
Right.
Happen. Because I mean, we've staked our franchise on Dak being the guy. And
yes,
if that doesn't happen, then something may change. But I don't care if Cooper Rush wins every game from now through the Eagles. When Dak is ready and healthy to come back, Dak is going to take the reins back. And then
because that's what happens when you pay your QB. Like, you don't keep him on the sidelines and start your backup when you're paying him $40 million a year. No, that's not what you do. Okay, so let's move on and talk about some of these other games. There's some games that I've been really just excited to talk about. Okay, so hear me out. First games first. Let's talk about this Dolphins-Bills game. Dolphins beat the Bills 21-19. Josh Allen threw for over 400 yards, 2 touchdowns, and had more rushing yards than his running backs, okay? Tua threw for 186 yards. 186 yards to 400. Now, the Bills had more than double the passing yards and almost triple rushing yards. The Bills had 31 first downs to the Dolphins 15. first downs. The Bills had a total of 90 plays. The Dolphins had 39 plays, y'all. The Bills' time of possession was almost double what Miami had. For whatever reason, they ended up losing this game.
Yes.
Even with all of that. So my question to you, Sadell, is what is that? Does that say more about who Miami is, or does that just mean that the Bills just gave away a game?
Well, I think when you think about time of possession and all of that stuff, I think the Dolphins were more efficient when they had the ball.
Yeah.
They were more efficient, and that's what happens, because when you look at stats, case in point, which I know you don't like to hear this, but when we were initially talking about in years past, when we were talking about Dak, how he had so many passing yards, he had all this stuff, but it didn't equate to wins, right? So you have all these rushing yards, you have all these passing yards, you have all these great plays, you have all this time of possession, but it doesn't equate to a W. You still lose the game. So if your team is more, if the other team is more efficient with the ball and they're able to score, and then you have Tua being able to pass to some lightning speed receivers, they get into the end zone, and the Bills don't.
So,
I'm just saying stats don't always equate to wins, and sometimes they can be a little bit misleading.
Right.
So
you're right. But stats are still stats, and this didn't equate. These stats clearly, the Bills had the upper hand in every category, like literally category after category, third downs and yards, rushing and receiving, and then nothing, but you ended up losing.
But nothing.
The Bills, Josh Allen ended up throwing a pass. The pass fell short, and I was like, what was Josh Allen looking at in the end zone? Because I saw the receiver was in the end zone, like going for the he would have, had he caught the ball, scored a touchdown, but the ball was like super short of the goal line. And I'm like, I have Josh Allen on 2 of my fantasy teams. So of course I'm like,
right.
What happened, Josh? So that was interesting, but something even more interesting happened in the game. Tua, Miami's QB, got hit. And when he went back, he went head first to the ground, got up, wobbled around, kind of fell over. His teammates came over to him, and he kind of buckled again, and they helped him to the sideline. And I remember telling my partner, I said, he's not coming back in the game. Like, I felt horrible. I'm like, he can't come back in the game. Like, when you go out like that and you come back and you can't even stand up to walk straight. I was like, there's no way he's gonna come back. He came back.
Yeah.
He came back. And I'd be dogged on at the end of the game if you don't see headlines at the end that the NFL Players Association has launched an investigation to the Miami Dolphins to see if they follow proper concussion protocol. What were your thoughts when you saw that happen with Tua? Did you think he was gonna be able to come back into the game?
No, I didn't. And not even just that. The thoughts about after the game when Mike McDaniel, basically they're trying to say it was his back that caused him, but his head hit the ground.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, he's wobbly. And I get if your back is bothering you that, it could cause that. But, even Tua was kind of like, yeah, it hurt a little bit, but my back kind of locked up on me. But I'm good. I did whatever concussion protocol they had. But the thing with it is they didn't really do a real concussion protocol. That's why they're being investigated.
So you don't feel like they went through the whole series of everything they were supposed to?
No, I think it's what they were investigating. It was saying something about like it had to be a certified person or something like that, and they didn't use someone that was approved basically to go through the protocol. Like
Well, that's not
they use an
gonna.
independent, and the independent person basically said, that he didn't sustain any injuries or whatever, and that's basically what happened with that. So they said it was an unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant that says he didn't have the signs typically associated with a concussion. It wasn't like someone that's affiliated with the NFL that actually went through the protocol and cleared him. It was someone unaffiliated.
Unaffiliated, but still with the right credentials.
Supposedly, it says unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant, and
Okay, so it's not like this is like the great value version of a doctor that's
surely they wouldn't risk that on their prized possession. But
Miami.
no,
Do better. Do better. Look at how much money you're paying these players. Like, at the most you can do is pay somebody to protect them, to check them, to make sure that they're okay before you send them back out on the daggone field. That scared me because I felt like he should absolutely not be back on the field. He should not have been able to finish that game. He should have been on the sidelines, and they should have been having their backup on the field.
and I agree with Brian. I don't know that Tua wanted to come back. I don't think he was ready. I mean, granted, he came back, they win the game, but I don't know if he was. Maybe he was forced into coming back. Who knows?
Brian's hilarious. So yeah, that was something that really didn't sit well with me this week. So moving on, the Ravens. Okay, Lamar Jackson. Y'all. Okay. Lamar Jackson had 218 yards, but he had 4 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson rushed for 107 yards on 11 carries. Do y'all realize that that's like he's tied for 4th amongst all players? He's tied for 4th amongst all players. That means the running backs. Like Lamar, the quarterback is in 4th place when it comes to runs. Okay. Lamar Jackson is doing the fool. It's definitely been in the MVP conversation. He's now, this is the deal because his price tag keeps rising the longer this contract is not signed, right? So what's happening right now after the Deshaun Watson, if you guys remember, Deshaun Watson signed this deal, and mind you, Deshaun Watson has not played and won't play. It'll be like over two years.
Yeah.
So
maybe.
Yeah. So 5 years, a 5-year contract, $230 million. But the kicker about Deshaun Watson's contract is that it's fully guaranteed. Like all of the $230 million is guaranteed. So basically, what's happening is like the Ravens are looking into, they're likely to place an exclusive franchise tag on Lamar Jackson next year while trying to iron out the new contract. So this is supposed to be his last year of the rookie contract. So what happens is with this exclusive tag is that you cannot participate in free agency. And if he's tagged for 2 straight years, then the team will have to pay him 120% of the previous year's salary. So free agency could really be beneficial for Lamar Jackson. But if I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm still wanting to get a full contract and get paid. But the reality of the situation is that there are not going to be more Deshaun Watson fully guaranteed contracts going around this league. And the other owners and GMs have made that known in the NFL, basically saying, well, I don't care what Cleveland did with Deshaun Watson. We don't do that over here. So I don't know what's going to happen with this Lamar Jackson contract, but it does make me wonder, while the Ravens are playing incredibly well on both sides of the ball, what's going to happen with this contract situation, especially with him playing the way that he does. And I can't, it's just a scary situation.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about that whole debacle?
I mean, I don't know that it's a debacle. I think he's going to make a lot of money. My thing is, and I said it before, I just feel like Coach King said, I need some Nike apparel. It's on the way, Coach. It's on the way. But Ant says, as long as Lamar keeps balling like this, yesterday's price isn't today's price. I agree. But my thing is, I just wish he trusts his arm a little more. It's either he doesn't trust his arm or he doesn't trust his receivers. Right? Either way, he trusts himself more, and he does. He makes a lot of sacrifices. And so if he trusts his arms as much as he trusts his legs, then maybe we wouldn't have this conversation. But then on the other hand, maybe his price tag wouldn't be going up, right? So it just seems like in his mind, like I can do it by myself. And if they give him an opening, he's going to go. And everybody's been saying for the past few years, as soon as they figure him out, they're going to be able to stop him.
They haven't.
Hasn't happened.
They haven't been able to stop him.
Defenses are going to key in on him, and he's not going to be able to do what he's doing. They can't stop him. So on the one hand, it's like, it's not the most healthy thing to do for his career. It's not giving him the most longevity. But on the other hand, they can't stop him. They can't stop him. Right. So it's funny because my son's soon-to-be coach at Cal State, he coached James Harden, and he said, people used to always say, he only goes left. He only goes left. And he was like, but who can stop him? So y'all making a big deal out of nothing. So it may be the same thing with Lamar. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going, Coach Williams, Eagles 3-0. Nobody cares about the Eagles.
Nobody.
Nobody. But yeah, I mean, I think it'll be interesting. So Courtney is saying Lamar will be in Tampa Bay next year.
This got to be Tom Brady's last season.
It better be.
It better be.
It better be. Now, if he don't make it through this season with his wife, then he might just keep playing. But, you know, if you're trying to salvage anything, he probably and you can see the frustration in him, and he's getting knocked down a lot more. And it's not the same. You don't have the same receiver core. No. So it's not easy. Last couple of years, it was easy because he literally built himself a super team and was just chilling and smiling in the pocket. It's not the same right now. But
yeah, you can't do the same thing you were able to do a couple of years ago. I don't think Baltimore is going to get rid of or be like. I hope that Baltimore
pays him.
Yes, does right by him and pays him. I really do. This is the thing, though. Let me tell you, because I play with fantasy football, like looking at Baltimore's team. If you drafted any running back on Baltimore's team, like why?
Right.
Why? What was the point? You want to lose on purpose?
Right.
You were just like, I want to lose.
Right.
I want to draft some running backs on Baltimore's team because they don't get the ball. Okay,
or to be honest, or receivers. Like you're not gonna make much money on Baltimore receivers.
No.
So I mean,
you're not.
If you do not get him, get somebody on defense, maybe.
Definitely not the running backs, but even with the receivers, it's just
right.
Like because he literally, when you talk about somebody carrying the team, that's Lamar Jackson every week. Just like, come on, y'all, it's him single-handedly. Lamar Jackson that's why he's in the MVP conversation, because he's carrying the team on his own.
Well, and then the other bad thing about it is that, you know, it goes both ways. So when they win, it's great, man, Lamar. But when they lose, that's also all on him.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, so there's a couple other games that I just want to ask you about. One is the Chiefs and the Colts. The Chiefs lost to the Colts by a field goal. And the frustration on Patrick Mahomes' face, especially when he got into it with Coach Bieniemy. It seems like Kansas City is not the same team. And yes, we know Tyreek Hill is not there, but they've been able to pass the ball around and not they didn't lose a whole lot of production prior to this past week. Because prior to this past week, they weren't missing Tyreek Hill. Now, this week, it looked like they was missing Tyreek Hill. But, I mean, do you feel like the Chiefs' heydays have passed?
I don't know that they passed. I just feel like they not in groove right now.
Yeah.
I don't think it's past, and I think that they'll recover and they'll probably be okay. But the Colts, you lost to the Colts, and that
that's bad.
I mean, that in itself definitely was and I could definitely see the frustration. I mean,
yes,
the Colts have only won one other game, and no, Colts have only won one game. They've only beaten you. That's only it. They had a loss and a tie.
Yeah, the tie.
So they haven't won another game. But yeah, so I just think that, I mean, I do think they'll be okay. I just feel like, they trying to get their groove back.
Okay, well, as far as this Packers-Bucks game, this low-scoring Packers-Bucks game,
that was a straight defensive game.
14 to 12. Like, what? And so this is the Packers didn't even score in the second half. What? Now, this is the thing. Like, Tom Brady does not have Chris. Well, this week he didn't have Mike Evans because Mike Evans is suspended. He didn't have Chris Godwin, didn't have Julio Jones. So now they got Russell Gage getting 12 receptions. And then you have Aaron Rodgers with Green Bay. He hasn't found somebody to really replace Devontae Adams up until Romeo Doubs came in, and he could legit be the new number one receiver in Green Bay. But nobody expected for this game to be this low scoring and to look this just like these are supposed to be two greats, two GOATs. The game didn't look or represent anything like that.
It was a defensive game. And what happened in the second half is Tampa Bay's defense woke up. First half, they were just kind of scrambled, but the second half, they woke up and they were able to finally start causing some confusion in the backfield with Aaron. But, it just goes to show, like, Mike Evans is a big part. Like, he has. So, hey, D. Darian says it was a bad game, and Kels, he did. He dropped open passes. It was just an off game. I agree. In certain matchups.
Yes.
And so they're talking about the Chiefs. And so, yeah, so I do agree with that. It was just, and I do think they'll get their groove back. Ellis says, who didn't expect a low scoring game? I didn't expect it to be that low.
Not that low.
I didn't expect it to be that low, but to me, it was still a good game. I mean, it was a defensive battle. At first, I wasn't sure because it started off kind of crazy. Like, at first, I thought that Tampa Bay was about to get blown out because Aaron came out looking like discount double check on steroids, like a superhero. But they finally woke up that second half. Brian says the last matchup between Rodgers and Brady, and that's exactly. That's the way the game should be. That's the way the game should be.
Yes, that's the expectation, and this was not that. It wasn't that at all. Going back to Ant's comment, he said it benefits the Ravens owner to keep things the way they are financially. He can get away with having an exciting winning product on the field and possibly a Super Bowl run without having to pay top money to a QB or skill position players.
You don't need skill position players.
Right. You got all in one.
All you need, just get some big dudes and just have everybody blocking.
Right.
Get you a fullback, get you some big wide receivers that can block. That's, great because you're not getting the ball, sir.
None. Okay. We got to move on to other sports news. What you got, Sadale?
You know what? Honestly, I think I want to start off talking about I don't even know. There's just so many scandals going on right now,
Yeah,
and
it is.
but this Ime Udoka thing, it's kind of been weird. So Ime is the head coach of the Boston Celtics, and I don't know if you guys are aware, but there's an investigation going on because he was supposedly involved in an inappropriate relationship with another female staff. Not it was consensual.
Yes.
And so they have already suspended him for the season. And it's crazy because now the players are like, what the heck is going on? Like, they are contenders, like definitely playoff, but also championship contenders.
Yes.
So the players are kind of like, man, what is going on? Like, we literally just had a talk with him, and they're all caught off guard because they said everything seemed normal. Like, they said Udoka met with them and just was saying, like, we got to get this championship pursuit. They're talking about their plans. And now all of a sudden this comes out.
Yeah.
Now, the question that people keep asking is, they're like, why did they respond so abruptly? Like, the season is just starting, and why is it so harsh, for the whole season?
Mhm.
And they have expectations on being in the playoffs. And so now these players have a sudden change at the top of their coaching staff. Like, this is their head coach.
Yes. Right.
And it's someone that they don't even know. So the one thing is, they're all kind of shell shocked and basically just trying to get at a point, like, how did they find out? And Jason Tatum said that they found out like everybody else on Twitter. And so the way the Celtics handled it, I think, is probably the biggest problem, because you go through this thing, you do this investigation, and then automatically suspend this dude for the year, bring somebody else in, and basically just say, yeah, he had an improper consensual relationship with a female member of the team staff, and that's it. That's all they got. And so they said that they were speaking vaguely for privacy reasons, but these dudes are out here like ready to go, ready to make a run. And now all of a sudden they got to adjust to a different coaching style and different. So it's just been a lot, but it's been in the news a lot.
Yeah.
And just a lot of talk that's been going on about it on every news talk radio show. That's all they've been talking about. And the Celtics were saying they didn't expect it to leak so soon, but somebody in their organization had to leak it.
Right.
Udoka's not leaking it. Like, he's not going out talking about it. And then the fact that, it kind of goes on because he's in a relationship and has been in a long-term relationship with Nia Long.
Yes.
And so Brad Stevens went back on the coaching bench. So exactly. So what other way to get your team back?
Man, because he's front office. He got front office, and everybody, when he wasn't fired, but he was promoted, and everybody was like, how? What? So you don't do well as a coach, and then you get promoted into the front office, and
now he's back.
Now you're back. So there were several things about that situation that was disturbing to me. For one, I'll say it was frustrating watching the story unfold in real time. Because the more details you found out, like, the more you realize that social media was scrutinizing and throwing one of these female employees under the bus, and she had nothing to do with the situation at all. And I think the Boston Celtics organization did a poor job of releasing that information. And even so, if you didn't want to say who these female employees were, then say who it wasn't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because people make assumptions.
Right. Because people are going to make assumptions, and you left all of your female employees, like, you just threw them to the wind. It just said, oh well, it's out there, so good luck. And they didn't try to protect the other female employees. And I'm sure there are a bunch of other female employees outside of the two that are involved in this scandal. But I just feel like that they just did a poor job of their PR and the way that they did present it, even to the team. And on top of that, it's a situation where it's getting so much publicity, and it's like, I don't care who this man is sleeping with. Matter of fact, what's irritating to me is that, from us being on this show for the last 4 years, like, I have been a champion. You have been a champion for these black coaches to get in these positions and to have these seats, a seat at the daggone table. And I get excited when I see them in these positions. And for you to go and risk your career, your job, your
family,
your family, for not one but two women who were also, well, they were married, and then one of them is the wife of a VP, a senior VP. So now I gotta come to work every day after knowing that my partner has slept with this head coach, and I gotta see you every. No, you gotta go.
But see, and that's the thing. That's the thing. That's because of who it was. That's why it happened so quickly. And I agree with Darian. If one got to go, they all kind of need to go. If one, I mean, at the end of the day, he didn't like force them on anything. It wasn't like they're saying, they not Deshaun Watsoning him. They saying it was consensual.
Right.
So at the end of the day, then that's just that.
Right.
So someone said Brad didn't want that coaching spot. He turned it down already when asked by the owner. I'm willing to bet that May was sleeping with folks' wives. He was. Yeah. Y'all know how men are about their women, and exactly.
Okay, so Darian said, "Why do y'all think Ime was the only person?" Oh, okay, that's the part that yeah, right. He should. Okay, so he shouldn't be the only one. Everybody should be held accountable to that. We know it was consensual, and says we all have our vices. Now the world knows his. But okay, so yes, but this is the thing that's, for me as a woman, frustrating when we talk about sports. We talk about scandals all the time, but when it comes to like these moral scandals and stuff, like situations like this, Ime Udoka will be able to, if he gets fired from the Celtics, he's going to be able to get a coaching job someplace else. And they're just going to, all those execs are going to be watching their wives and not let their wives around him. That's going to happen in another organization. But when you see these other scandals, the Robert Kraft stuff that we talked about a couple of years ago, Robert Sarver, Brett Favre, and the $5 million that he stole from poor people, welfare folks in Mississippi. These people have done illegal things. And here we are sitting and talking about who Ime Udoka sleeping with and how he's messed up his whole daggone life. Never mind the $5 million worth of lives that Brett Favre messed over in Mississippi. Like, at some point, something's got to give. You know
because
what I'm saying?
People try to take this moral high road, and that's what happens. And so that's what they're looking at in the news. And even with that Brett Favre thing, like, there's been so much stuff that continues to come out of it. Like, they were talking about this nonprofit organization that got a federal grant, and when they wanted to renew the funding, the money wasn't there. It wasn't available anymore. And so people are like, there's just so much more stuff that's coming out about that. But at the end of the day, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what's really going to happen? Is he going to lose anything as a result of this?
Well, let me tell you something. If I'm his woman, Nia, like, no, I'm not about to be embarrassed like that. And you think that I'm just going to stick around after you done had me out on Front Street like that with not one, but two? What did you work with? I'll never be able to trust you again. You work with them. No.
Crouchy said, did you say Deshaun Watsoning? Yes, that's what I said. They not Deshaun Watsoning him. He said he putting that in the dictionary. But what I'm saying is, like, Deshaun Watson, they had all these charges against him doing things. What about Brett sending the pic to old girl, though? I mean, there's a lot of things that Brett has done. I mean, there's a lot of things that several of these dudes have done. It just happens and it just kind of goes away. Just like Robert Kraft. They made such a big deal about it at the beginning. And before the season started, it was just
Nobody
swept
heard
away.
about it. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's these illegal things. Like, I understand that what's currently happened with Ime Udoka it's current, right? It's real time. Brett Favre is no longer an NFL player. However, when you do something that despicable, there should still be retroactive repercussions and consequences. NFL,
Consequences and
Green Bay Packers, get rid of all that Brett Favre crap. Because if not, then to me, I'm looking at it like you condone it. And I don't know. So the whole Ime Udoka, I just think that situation is ridiculous that he would risk his career, his family, his livelihood for some, woohoo.
And the other thing that's also crazy about that, and then we'll just move on, is because, it furthers the question about women in men's sports, because that's the risk. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, because even for me, when I first got the job at South Oak Cliff High School, there were so many people who said, it's got to be something going on. She got to be sleeping with one of the coaches. Somebody got to be like, it was never, she's going to be, she's a good coach, she's going to be there and do whatever she needs to do. It was always something, let me not say always. There were a handful of people who were saying something else must be going on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so when something like this happens with female staff members who are around the sport and engaged with men's sports, it just sets us back just a little bit further. So as bad as everything is for Ime, and as much as we're talking about him, he has a family and he's done this thing. They also have families. They also did things. Like, they also embarrassed their husband. They also embarrassed their children. It's the same. Ime has a 10-year-old son, but I'm more so saying because the women in this situation make it harder for women like us who want to be in sports, whether it's male or female, just sports in general, because that's what the stigma ends up being.
Right. That's so unfortunate. So unfortunate. What else you got for us?
Well, I think, how much time we got left? Yeah, we only have like 5 minutes left. So let's do your commission stuff, I think. The only thing I do want to say, and this is not a dig, but OU then are you surprised that they've dropped to 18 though? So
no.
OU lost to K-State. They lost
K-State,
but
beating OU.
Actually, 3 out of the last 4 meetings, K-State has beat them, right? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. They dropped them from, what were they, 5?
They were up there. No,
down to,
I don't know.
They may have been 6 because it was 6 and 7. USC, I think, was right behind them, and they dropped them all the way down to freaking 18. And it is a conference rival. I get that, but 18. Because that's what they were saying. Alabama only dropped 1 point and they almost got beat, but yeah, they dropped. So
he's such a hater.
Well, guess what? OU ain't gonna be back either. So I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
We're back next week. I ain't worried about it. So okay. So real quick, y'all, I'll have to show you guys like super fast this my fantasy football for this week.
I agree, Ellis. You should have dropped so far.
Long story short, I lost. So I'm gonna show you guys real quick. Here we go. Okay, so what you guys are looking at, can you see it, Sadell?
I can.
Okay, so what you guys are looking at is the place. Right now, I am currently, and this is me down here at 7th place. I'm Hit Me With Your Prescott. Greatness beat me this week. Let me show you guys what our matchup looked like, and then what my matchup this coming up week will be. So that's week 4. I'm gonna go to week 3. So this right here, guys, I ended up losing 96 to 109.
God,
This is what happened. Like basically, Alvin Kamara didn't really do too much for me. And then my kicker only got me 3 points. My defense was Tampa Bay, and I only got 6 points there. I just didn't perform that well. Even though Tony Pollard and Travis Kelce did right by me, his team ended up outscoring me with Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry. And that was the issue. So he beat me, and I'm now 1-2. But my matchup for this upcoming week looks like this. I will be going up against the denominators, Mr. Tigger Marcus. He is one of our Dope Sports Chicks fantasy football vets. And as you can see, he has the better QB than I do. He has Patrick Mahomes. But I am favorited 70 to 30. He is the underdog, and I will show you guys my bench because I did pick up some new players off of the waiver wire. I picked up Romeo Dobbs, Garrett Wilson, and Madison because Dalvin Cook is injured and he'll be playing with a brace. So I'm going to stop sharing here. And so that's what my team looks like going into this next week. And I'm not exactly sure. I'm not sure how we're going to be able to, like, who I'm going to start, who I'm going to keep on the bench. I'm not exactly sure. I got to look back at the matchups and see who's playing who this week. What?
I didn't. So Ann says, I can't believe Sadell went off script. I didn't. That was part of the script. I was supposed to talk about college football, but we ran out of time. So I just wanted to add that. I was really shocked that they dropped that far.
You know what, Sadell, he's like our honorary producer. So he's just telling you, like, we got to stay on script, but he's not realizing that was legit part of it. But thank you, producer. We appreciate that. So that's what fantasy football looks like for me coming up this week. I will post that matchup. Okay. So you guys will be able to see that matchup, and then you guys will be able to let me know who you think I should bench, who you think I should start. Do you have a Dope Sports Chick of the week?
No, but you want to do our NFL picks real quick?
NFL picks this coming up week. We got a couple of minutes. Okay.
We got 1 minute, 10 seconds.
You said we got, okay. Yes. So, Sadell, week 4, Dolphins, Bengals. Who you got?
Dolphins.
I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. If Tua's coming back, say Bills, Ravens.
Bills.
I'm gonna go with the Bills. Chiefs, Bucks.
Bucks. Okay. I was gonna go with the Chiefs, but I'm kind of concerned. I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay.
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. Vikings, Saints.
Vikings.
Rams, Niners.
Rams.
I'm going with the Rams. Okay. Okay, I'm super excited about next week. Let's go. Thank you guys so much for
Miami and Chiefs. Yep. Thank you guys so much. We love you. If nobody told you they love you this week, just know that we love you and we appreciate you, and we will see you next week.
Yay. Bye, guys.